What's good, y'all? I already know where y'all at. It's your boy Star Jones, and it's a new episode of Star Views. It's about to start right now. So please, I hope you got your hookah ready, and I hope you got your cups full of whatever ready, because I got a lot to talk about, alright? Know what's going on. Star Jones, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so. Please and thanks, you heard? What's good, folks? It's your man Star Jones. We back. Got another episode of Star Views. And yeah, closing out the month of November. It's gonna be the last film we discuss for this month before we embark on the new month of December and all that good stuff to close out the year. So, the movie tonight that will be discussed is a reboot. This is another popular video game franchise that has been around for a long time. They have already had several movies put out. And that's in this time frame, I guess. And they decided, you know what? The fans are sick of this one. Let's move on. Let's try to reboot it, restart it, and give it some new life. And that's Resident Evil Welcome to Raccoon City. As I mentioned, we're familiar with Mila Jovovich's character as Alice. And that version of Resident Evil. In this version, again, I keep saying it, it's a restart, reboot, and we have a whole bunch of new characters. We were introduced to characters that we didn't see before in this new Resident Evil film and all that. So you already know, once I get back, I'm going to go situate me a drink. When I come back, we're going to actually discuss what transpired in the film. And then as always, we're going to talk about how I rate the film, pros and cons and all that good stuff. And ultimately, how I rate the film and whether or not you should spend your money to go see it. Alright, so I'll be back in 2 ticks. Alright, see you in a second. What's good, folks? It's your man Star Jones, and we back. It's time to talk about exactly what transpired in the film and all that good stuff. So in the opening act of the film, we see a young Claire and Chris Redfield. They're in Raccoon City Orphanage. And for all my gamers out there, I'm sure you guys all responded the same way, because we all know the impact and how important Raccoon City Orphanage is in the actual Resident Evil 2 game. So it was good to see that. I'm not gonna lie, like being a fan of the game and seeing that on the big screen was definitely something, that caught me off guard. So I'm not gonna lie. So we see them in an orphanage, and we see young and Chris and Claire Redfield and their interaction with Dr. Birkin. We all know Dr. Birkin is, for all the gamers out there. For those who don't know, Dr. Birkin is a scientist for the Umbrella Corporation, the bad guys of the film, the people that are the reason for the world, well, Raccoon City's demise, pretty much, and why the T virus and G virus is going on within this city and confines of Raccoon City. So we see them with Dr. Birkin. Dr. Birkin is doing some type of illegal activities with these children, not like sexual, but like scientifically. They're experimenting on these kids, and yeah, pretty much has no business doing what they're doing. And it obviously is a secret. The way he moves is suspect. So we get our early indications of how bad Umbrella Corporation really is. So immediately after we're introduced to young Chris and Claire Redfield, we're put back in September 1998, where we see an adult Claire in a tractor trailer or oil rig, however you want to jargon it. We also know how important this is from the game, because that's the opening act in the game in Resident Evil 2. Well, at least the remake is concerned, because that's what I played. So we have the truck driver, and this is how, I guess you can say, you realize how far this is spread, the virus itself. Because they're on their way into Raccoon City, Claire and this truck driver, when his dog contracts the virus. I'm not going to say how the dog gets it, but his dog contracts the virus. So Claire goes into the city. She meets up with her brother. And as soon as she meets with Chris, that's when things start to go left. You start to notice people in the town are exhibiting symptoms of some type of virus. They're bleeding from their eye, they're losing their hair, they're incoherent, like they're off balance, like something is off. Like, so all these people start exhibiting all these symptoms and you notice it. And pretty much that's when the action really begins. I'm not gonna lie, the action begins at that point because now Claire has to meet up with her brother. But her brother Chris, who's a STARS member, and STARS is like the SWAT team / ESU emergency service unit for the Racoon City Police Department. And that is what Chris is a part of. So now she's on a chase to find her brother because she knows something is wrong with the town, but Chris has been dispatched to Arclay Mountains to this mansion. This mansion belongs to this big elite member of the Umbrella Corporation. So while Claire's chasing him down to find him, Chris and his team is at the mountain investigating what's going on. So, and that's when things begin to get worse for the STARS members. So pretty much that's the movie in itself. It's pretty much discovering what secrets Umbrella has, and you know, the dynamic of Chris and Claire's relationship while surviving a zombie apocalypse. So yeah, that's the movie. I'll be back in 2 seconds to actually let you guys know how I feel about the movie, whether or not you should see it, pros and cons, and all that good stuff. I know the favorite part, your favorite part. So I'll be back in a second. Alright? Cool. Alright? It's the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's get into it. Again, I don't want to hold you guys up. I know it's Thanksgiving. I know you want to eat and all that. So, pros of the film, I'm going to say shout out to the producers, the writers, and directors for what they were trying to do. You know, as far as a lot of things from the game, adding those elements was key, as I mentioned in the overview, including the oil rig driver from the opening scene in the second game. That was cool. I appreciate that. Including Racoon City's orphanage, that was cool. Actually introducing the fact that Claire and Chris are both orphans, that was cool. I didn't know that. I had to actually Google it and find out on my own. I definitely didn't know that. And I played Resident Evil 2, 3, you know, 4. You know, I never knew that. I never knew that. And again, I just mentioned games that Chris really didn't have any involvement in. But again, I didn't know that. So that was cool. I appreciate that. But that's the furthest it goes with the pros. Yeah, so now I'm going to get into the cons. Now, with those things said, I mentioned the oil rig driver in the beginning of the game. I mean, the beginning of the movie that is in the start opening scene of Resident Evil 2. He didn't have a dog. You know, again, these are examples of, I think, the writers, producer, and director doing too much. You know, you started off good. You know, you gave us a lot of good things, but then it just kind of... So, yeah. The truck driver never had a dog. And again, I know what you guys were doing. You put the dog in the truck to have the zombie dog. And again, we know how important the zombie dogs are in the video game. And, you know, I see what y'all was trying to do there. But we didn't need the zombie dogs to be in the truck with the guy. It was whack. I saw what you was trying to do. I can appreciate what you was trying to do, but it was whack. We know the dogs are in the police station. They come from the police station. They got a kennel downstairs with the police dogs, and then they get the outbreak, and boom, and now they start in the police station. Please, you could have just left it like that. You tried to finesse something and it didn't work out. What else? Who's this girl in the orphanage? The girl that was talking to Claire when she was little, and the weird hooded little mutated girl that, spoiler, killed the liquor in the orphanage. Who is that? I don't think we needed her. Speaking of liquors, why was that liquor so small? Was it a baby liquor? From when I played the game, the liquors are huge. Like they big. They not little. So I didn't really feel the liquor too much. The presentation of the zombies. they didn't really feel like zombies to me. They really felt like people who had rabies or something. You know, I've seen much better zombie work. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Walking Dead fan. I watch zombie movies all the time. Like, I just seen better zombie presentations. Yeah, so that was another con. I don't, as much as I appreciate y'all trying to stick to the game roots, the game authenticity, as much as I could appreciate that, I think y'all did too much because it became a cluster fuck. Because now you was putting elements of Resident Evil 1 in with Resident Evil 2 and maybe even hints of Resident Evil 3. You know what I'm saying? Jill never meets Leon Kennedy. So for me, like Jill, now for my gamers out there, 2 and 3, the time frame of the game 2 and 3 coincide with one another. The events that are going on in both games are happening simultaneously. We got Dr. X chasing, you know, Racoon CDPD, and then we got Nemesis chasing all the STARS members. And this is going on at the same time. But Jill and Leon never cross paths and clear. They never cross paths. This is a big city. And now going into that, they made Raccoon City feel like Raccoon Village. It didn't feel like a city. It gave off real small town vibes. Now, there's a lot of inconsistencies with the size of Raccoon City, but from the previous franchise of movies, Raccoon City was made to be like a city. There was at least 600,000 people in these cities. So, and then certain games, they refer to Raccoon City as like a metropolis and things like that. For me personally, once you have a subway and the sewer system that Raccoon City has, we all been in the sewers in the video games, and that's a huge sewer system. Ain't no small town got a sewer system designed like that, nor do they have trains. So, I don't really like the fact that the movie made Raccoon City feel like a little village versus a big city. It's not Raccoon Village, it's Raccoon City. So that was another problem for me, a gripe I had. The casting. I'm all about, you know, I don't like when Hollywood whitewashes characters. But if a character was designed white in a game, black, Asian, whatever the case may be, leave it the way it is. And the fact that, here's a pro. I think how the way they casted Wesker, that was cool. I was cool with that casting. Birkin, that was cool. Birkin's daughter, I forget her name. That was cool. Claire, I think, was a really good casting. I think Chris Redfield was a good casting, but Chris was a little on the smaller side, but Chris doesn't get his weight up until Resident Evil 5 anyway. Well, Resident Evil 4. No, yeah, Resident Evil 5, my bad. He doesn't get his weight up to Resident Evil 5, but, you know, still. But Jill, I didn't like the casting, and this is nothing taken away from that actress. I remember her from Ant-Man and the Wasp. She does her thing. But Jill is like, her father's French and her mother's like Korean or something. You could have kept Jill the way she was. Leon Kennedy, white boy, blonde hair, blue eyes. That's the Leon I know. That's the Leon I want to see on the big screen. Just being honest. Nothing taken away from the son that played Leon, but boom. And now speaking of Leon, I don't even like how they had Leon. Leon was like a cornball in the movie. Leon is the man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Leon is the man. Suave, cool, he got that Captain America, like, yeah, I'm gonna save the day vibes. Like, Leon in the movie was soft, unsure of himself. It was corny. I didn't like it at all. So that's another gripe I had with the film. I could go on forever. That's how much I did not enjoy the movie. Will there be a sequel? Yeah, no spoilers. It's gonna be a sequel because of the post-credit scene, well, mid-credit scene. But am I excited to see it? No. So with all that said, I'm going to give this movie a 4.5 stars. I don't even have to think about it. I was actually thinking about it from the time I walked out the theater, what I was going to give this film. 4.5 stars. This was not a good movie. The first movie with Mila Jovovich playing Alice was better than this. And that wasn't a classic. That wasn't a great movie. That wasn't beautifully written. It wasn't none of that. But Resident Evil with Mila Jovovich, the first one, was better than this. And Michelle Rodriguez in him was better than this. This is an example of you trying to do too much. And I get it, you're trying to appease your fans, but fell on its face. 4.5 stars. Do not waste your money. I wouldn't even say to see it for real. You know what I'm saying? If if you're a true Resident Evil fan, of course you want to do fan service and for yourself and see things. But don't feel pressured to see it. Don't feel pressed to see it. Save your money. Save your bread. It's not worth the end. You heard? 4.5 stars. December's coming up. It's a lot of good movies coming out. We got Spider-Man No Way Home coming out. We got The Matrix 4 coming out. So it's going to be a busy November. We're going to end off the year right, hopefully. So yeah, that's my time, folks. Y'all have a good night. Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure y'all get your mac and cheese on, your candy yams and all that. And y'all enjoy. Y'all be safe. Have a happy holiday. And I'll see y'all soon. Start jumping them out. Oh, y'all still here? Appreciate y'all for sticking around, man. But I don't got no more hookah. But what I do have is more content on my YouTube channel. So please, if you haven't done so already, hit that red button and subscribe. Hit the bell so you get notified as soon as I post anything. Alright? And if you haven't already followed me on social media, here's my information. Make sure y'all follow up. Appreciate it. Y'all still here, man. That's valid. Have a good one.